Superman is one of the cornerstones of DC Comics. Some people hate him, some people love him. Some people see him as a character filled with hope, viewing humanity from the outside, while others view him as a Mary Sue character. For those wondering, a Mary Sue character is a character that can pretty much do anything handed to them, and they always seem to win, because people like them to. Anyway, since Superman is so popular, DC has made multiple versions of him, and I think we've done multiple videos about the different versions of Superman. I don't know, we have a lot of videos. I've lost track of which ones we've covered at this point. I could probably redo some of those videos, and half of you wouldn't even know. So today, I want to give my opinions and my ranking on the strongest Supermen in the multiverse, and how they stand in these rankings. Anyway, I also want to know your list on the Supermen in their order of power. And just so you know, this is a completely opinionated list due to the fact that not every one of these Supermen has ever shown us long-term exposure to these powers. Now, let's start with the bottom tier, Golden Age Superman. Back in the Golden Age, Superman was faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, and able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And that was quite literal. Now, the speed varies on the bullet being shot, but Mythbusters said that sound travels at 768 miles per hour, and that's half the speed of a bullet. So that basically means that this Superman could only run about 1,500 miles per hour. Sounds like it's fast, but it's nowhere near fast enough to race the Flash like later Superman. He also wasn't super strong because he could be shot and killed. Mostly he stomped robbers because it was a legit concern of his that he would die. And the whole leap tall buildings in a single bound thing, well, that really wasn't a saying, that was his power. He could leap over buildings. No flying, nothing special, just leaping. This was the least powerful Superman that I could find basically at this point, unless you throw in some weird stuff like Flashpoint Superman and things like that, but let's just be realistic here. Golden Age is the weakest. Next we have the intro to the New 52 Superman. Now in the New 52, which was a relaunch that happened in 2011, it was easily visible that this Superman wasn't nearly as powerful as the other ones. This one had many flaws, and he was massively underpowered compared to his pre-New 52 version. None of this was more apparent than in Action Comics at the time. In here, he's young, cocky, and a jerk, and he's basically just a tier above the entire Golden Age version. Of course, they gave him the new powers that he had received over the years, like heat vision and frost breath, but still, he ran super fast and jumped, not flew. For number 3, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in Injustice Gods Among Us and Ultraman and Red Sun Superman. They're all my number 3. Now, I put them together because they all have the same rules that apply. They're all seemingly just as powerful as a normal Superman, but they don't seem to have the moral compass that makes Superman a good guy. In the Injustice universe, Superman was turned evil by the Joker, and he wanted to rule the world and stop all conflict. Ultraman is an alternate version which is pure evil, and he gets his powers by snorting kryptonite like it's a drug. And hell, Red Sun, he's literally a Superman that landed in Russia instead of America and wants to propel the Soviet Union. Basically, these guys are just Superman with nothing holding them back, like I said. Want Superman to murder someone for his own agenda? They've got you covered. Want Superman to conquer a country in the name of the Soviet Union? That happens. Just imagine normal Big Blue, but with no reason to ever stop. Now it's time for things to get a bit interesting. For number 4, we're gonna move to Superman X. So in the Legion of Superheroes show, there's an episode about a man called Superman X, Kal-El. He's basically an enhanced clone of Superman with new abilities added in. So picture Superman, but with magic, energy projection, energy resistance, and immunity to kryptonite. Suffice to say, it's the next tier of Superman. And what happens if we go even further into the future? Well, that'll bring us to the 853rd century, Kal Kent. Kal Kent is what Kryptonians evolved to in the future, and he's the current survivor of the Superman dynasty. He seemingly has no limit with the usual strength, speed, senses, vortex breath, arctic breath, flight, x-ray, and heat vision, but he also has ESP, force vision, telepathy, electromagnetic manipulation, and 10 more senses than the normal human being. I don't even know what, like, how do you have more senses? Do you have, like, you can't say smell because then it would be like he already has smell. He has 10 more. He first appears in the Superman 1 million storyline, and a lot of people like to try and put him on par with Silver Age Superman, but we aren't at either one of those Supermen yet they are on this list. Next up, we have AllStar Superman, and it is one hell of a weird story, like super weird. So our number 6 was basically Grant Morrison giving us a story on the end of Superman's life. And the way that it was ending was that his power was reaching its limits, and he was basically being turned into solar power. It was like the next evolution of Superman and Kryptonians. Now, there isn't anything in comic that gives us a clear measuring stick or how to properly gauge this. Most fans seem to state that AllStar Superman is 4 times more powerful than a regular Superman. He can seemingly move 1 billion times faster than light, move planets and various other things, and And it all leads to a very strong theory that AllStar Superman becomes Superman 1 million, which is still on our list. There's a few pieces of evidence towards that, like Cal Kent appearing, him being solar, which would line up with DC 1 million, and Grant Morrison writing both stories. So what I'm getting at is basically AllStar Superman is a weakened version of Superman 1 million, and Superman 1 million, well, we'll get there. For number 7, we have Superboy Prime. So this is basically a Superboy from our universe, a universe in which superheroes are nothing more than comic books. He basically discovers that he's actually a Superboy from another dimension, and he gets his powers, yet he has no weakness to kryptonite or red sun. This Superboy deems himself the only one worthy of the title of Superboy, and Superman eventually when he decides he's going to be Superman Prime, and with no real weakness and insane levels of strength, he becomes a real problem for the heroes. He actually punched reality at one point, and what that did was throw all kinds of weird things into reality, like reviving Jason Todd from the dead. He then suits up in a power suit, pumping him full of yellow sun radiation, but he's still not the strongest. Number 8 is Superman with the Sword of Superman. Yeah, you heard me right, that's a thing. So this is potentially the strongest Superman ever. I will not lie, this story is way before my time, but basically as the story goes, it's a sword that was created in the Big Bang and it has an S on it. It floats around through space looking for Superman for centuries, and once he finds it, he has the option to gain all of the power and knowledge of the entire universe to become the universe's greatest protector. We have no idea what those power levels are, as he rejects the sword so that he can just stay and protect Earth. But if he were to gain all of that power, it's suffice to say that I think he would be the strongest Superman ever, but we gotta keep him at number 8 because he rejected it. For number 9, I'm gonna put Superman Prime 1 million on there. Now he is supposedly the eventual endpoint for the All-Star Superman evolution. Or isn't, depends if you want to take all the blatantly obvious clues about it or not. Either way, this Superman is living in the sun for like 15 centuries or something else crazy like that. He's basically got ultimate power that he has built and trained up to. It leads him to have infinite knowledge, and he is able to use that knowledge to create an entire universe that he wants to play with. He even creates life when he brings Lois back to life from the dead, from 15 centuries of being dead. So this isn't even like Lois would have like a little like mosquito with blood in it. We're not gonna have like a Jurassic Park thing. He brings her back out of nothing. This is the ultimate form of Superman. He can do anything. And I'll explain him a lot better in another video when we do the Superman 1 million storyline. But here's the funny part. I don't consider him the strongest, just the eventual path that Superman will take. No, in my opinion, number 10, the strongest Superman is Silver Age Superman. Didn't see that coming, did ya? This is because Silver Age Superman literally has zero limits. This is during a day and age when they would just throw any story that they thought was good at Superman. He was towing planets with a chain, multiple planets. He could fly through time like it was nothing, and he gained and lost new powers like they were candy. This Superman could literally do anything a writer wanted him to do. Think of God if he was a comic book character. He was one of the prime examples of superheroes being so powerful that they needed to nerf him. So in the Crisis on Infinite Earths patch, you may know it happened during the 80s, that's when they brought all of the superheroes in line to realistic proportions, and one of the primary reasons for that is because this guy could do anything. The age-old Goku versus Superman argument wouldn't even matter, since he could do whatever a writer wanted. You could literally state Silver Age Superman punches Goku with a single punch so hard that he explodes, and the Dragon Balls can't even save him because that's a new power that Silver Age Superman has. And that would stick! That's how it worked! Anyway, those are the 10 Supermen that I thought were the most powerful Supermen, but obviously, this is my opinion. So what do you guys think? Do you think Silver Age Superman's the strongest? Do you think that it's actually Superman 1 million? Do you think for some weird reason that it's actually Doomsday Superman? Super Brainy Doom? Yeah, I know, I dubbed him that during that video and it stuck. Anyway, guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to get dropped with all kinds of comic book knowledge. Follow the other videos on the screen to see more stuff from Comicstorian, and we will catch you next time right here.